The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives, at The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. Hey, welcome everyone. It's Bernardo Moya. I'm the founder of The Best You, the author of The Question, Find Your True Purpose. And I'm excited and delighted today to have with me another guest, another amazing individual. His name is Tyler Ornstein. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Bernardo. It's an absolute pleasure. And I can't thank you enough for what you're doing. You know, what you've created in a movement makes me super excited to be part of, because it's true. We need to have the best of you. If you do not have the best of you, then you're giving yourself a disservice, and you're not giving yourself enough opportunity to become who you really should be.
Well, thank you. And let me just do a brief bio on Tyler. Tyler has loved the taste and smell of coffee since he has his first sip at 14. And now not everyone does. But his father was a biochemist and had designed a proprietary computerized Z roasting system and figured out how to roast the bean perfectly without, all the tannic and lipid acids, which often wreak havoc and provide you or give you those gastrointestinal problems.
Sure.
That can cause indigestion, bloating, heartburn, and all sorts of obviously tooth enamel decay. So the podcast is called Inspiring People, and I've met Tyler through a mutual friend of ours, David Fagan, who I always kind of embrace because he's a great guy. But the idea is that Tyler walks his talk, and that's kind of the idea here of sharing some ideas about his mind, his mindset, what he's done and managed to achieve as an entrepreneur in a relatively short period of time. It's not a one-day wonder, because a lot of people think that entrepreneurs it's a one-day wonder. I know it's not, and he's going to explain that to us.
No, it's absolutely no great success. And anyone that says you have to work for it, they're just joking. Absolutely. They've obviously never been an entrepreneur themselves. So Tyler, tell me a little bit about your early years, kind of where you were born, what was school like for you? Were you a good student? Did you behave? Tell me about those early years. Oh, wow. I like those questions. Dig right into it. So I'm born and raised in Tucson, Arizona, and I absolutely love Tucson. It's home. I live here. I've been living here since my whole life. I've been all over the world. I've been all over the country, and for some reason, I just call Tucson home. I think it's one of the best cities and places to be. So I started the company, like you said. I'm 14 years old, door-to-door on a bicycle, and I was extremely young and naive, and I just had this dream and this passion to create something more than a 9-to-5 job, or at the time working at McDonald's, or what high schoolers do. I had more of a passion to succeed in a different light. And my father came to me one day and he said, "What's the second largest commodity item in the world?" And I had no idea, so I went to Google. I looked it up. First was oil, petroleum, but second was coffee. And at the time it was billions, but now we're in the trillions. And for us to have a niche market in a $1.6 trillion industry is astronomical. And I'm really, really blessed that I was able to bring to the world this product. This product is a coffee product, and you've tried it, right? Yeah,
so I have tried it, and it's a delicious coffee, and I'm a massive fan of coffee. So I've got a lot of questions around that. So no, it's delicious.
Good. And so, not to get too long-winded, but I always had this drive to help others. Ever since I can remember, when I was in Cub Scouts and Weeblo Scouts, and then Boy Scouts, and I believe that a good entrepreneur is someone that helps others. A very, very, very successful entrepreneur is someone that helps a lot of people. And you can see that time and time and time again. People realize that people are people.
and I keep going kind of around the circle, so let me be a little bit more blunt and clear. If you can figure out a problem that a mass of people know and have, and then monetize that, you will be astronomically successful. For example, Steve Jobs, he knew that the computer could be better and it could be a much better platform, an easier platform to work. Multi-billion-dollar company. Elon Musk, he knew that he could create a car that ran on electricity that would be as powerful as a gas car. Now he's into space. I mean, these are people that wanted to help people. They wanted to help humanity. And there was a study done by Inc. magazine, and it said that 75% of the buying decision is based off of the person's beliefs. So if the person has a belief that your product is going to help them or succeed, then they're going to buy it.
Let me ask you: was your father, apart from obviously being a biochemist, was he an entrepreneur?
Oh yeah, he's definitely an entrepreneur. Yeah.
Did you learn? I mean, would you say he was obviously he was an influence because he was roasting coffee there he was. But was he an influence as far as the entrepreneur, or was it apart from the idea of you wanted to help more people, connect with more people? Because some people understand it, some people know it, and some people have to fall into it.
My father is a very interesting man. He's one of the most brilliant people you'll ever meet, but he's not really a good quote unquote salesman. He's not really a business guy. He is a problem solver. That's like his end all be all. That's his modus operandi. He talks to Lindy Oil and Gas. He talks to Chevron. He talks to, essentially municipalities, Caltrans. And he's an advisor. At best you could say is he's a consultant, but what he does is he figures out a chemical to fix their problem. And it's all non-toxic. It's as clean as chemistry can be. That's who he really is. So he loves fixing a problem. And I guess that helps people in the long run. But no, he's very successful in his own right. And he's made amazing inventions. I mean, I'm not here to kind of talk to you about all the inventions that he's developed, but I've learned a lot from my father. And my father is a very stern and strong and very scientific man. I mean, growing up, there was very little fun or enjoyment in it. There was really no hugging or love, but there was a lot of very concise, specific movement. He would always say, "Prove it to me." Yeah. Every single thing. Big, "Hey Dad, can I go over to a friend's house? Prove it to me." It's like, "What do you mean prove it to you?" He's like, "Why do you want to do that?" I was like, "Well, I want to hang out with my friends." "But why?" I'm like, "What do you mean why?" I don't know. He's like, "Well, if you can come up with a reason why, I'll let you." And that was a very interesting thing because, I mean, anything. "Hey Dad, can you buy me this?" "Why?" "Prove it to me." "Well, I'd like it." "No, not good enough." And so he really made me work for things. And in the long run, I see back at 30 years old that I see the value that he created for that, but he could have done it a little bit differently.
Well, it definitely made you question things. And I'm a great believer in the power of questions. I mean, my book is called The Question.
Yeah, I love questions.
I believe it is about asking questions. You get your mind going and you start looking for the answers, the solutions until you get there.
Yep.
So this spirit of being an entrepreneur, when did you actually start? So you started at 14 and then you tell us how you got to where you are today, because then I want to dig into kind of the entrepreneurship aspect.
So I started at 14 years old, door to door on a bicycle with a backpack and silver packs. I would go, the first thing I wanted to do is build a test market. And so I would go to my immediate neighborhood that knew me. And I would just walk up and they knew who I was. I was the neighbor's kid. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we'll take your coffee." And, call them back. "Hey, did you like it?" "Yes, okay." Okay, so we're building a test market. We're building a platform on data And every single person, and let me get into this really quick. As an entrepreneur, you don't know if your idea is going to fail or succeed. The only thing that you know is you have an idea. Now you have to build some data points around that idea. Is the data feasible? Does it have any forward momentum in the data? So the way that you build data points is your customer base. And as you go around, you absolutely have to give it out for free for the first time. There's no one that's going to buy something that's not a proven product. I assure you. I mean, prove me otherwise, but as far as I know, if I told you, hey, I would love for you to try my coffee, and it's not on Walmart, it's not on Amazon, it's not in 1,200 retail stores, it's not on tylerscoffees.com, it doesn't have over 3,000 reviews, you probably would say, I'm not going to buy it. So the way that you develop that mindset is you tell people, try my coffee, try my product, right? You're an entrepreneur, you have a product, or you have a service. You have a product or service as an entrepreneur. You have to get the data. There is going to be a cost associated with it. So if you don't have that money, don't do it yet. I tell people all the time that want to get in the business, can you afford it? That's the first thing I say to someone that wants to become an entrepreneur and they want my tutelage or they want my opinion. Hey, Tyler, I got this amazing idea. It's going to change the world. Let me tell you, blah, 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 blah. And the first thing I say is, can you afford it? And if you can't afford it, that's okay, but you need to figure out how much it's going to cost you. And okay, so door-to-door on a bicycle, cheap overhead, right? We have cheap overhead. We are starting very, very, very bare bones. Grassroots, like David says. And what I did is I went around, and I'll never forget this old lady. She was very, very sweet. I called her up on the phone and I said, hi, yeah, this is Tyler, the guy that brought you the coffee. I just wanted to get your opinion, and did you like it? She goes, yeah, actually, I really enjoyed it a lot. Where can I get it? And right there was the light bulb moment when I realized that we're no longer in testing phase. We're now in, pretty much a buying phase. And I was like, for me. And she's like, okay, how much is it? $1. I didn't really, it kind of hit me with a ton of bricks because I was young and obviously I was just kind of goofing around. But what it was is it was the first sale. And nothing happens without the first sale. You always have to get the first sale, then the other sales will start coming. So in 2006, we went online. That same year, we went into our first retail location. In 2008, we landed our first chain of retail. In 2011, we landed Amazon and so on and so forth. And we grew. We grew from a backpack, a bike, and an idea to now over $1 million corporation.
If you're interested in finding your true purpose, if you're interested in finding your legacy, if you're interested in growing, if you are sick and tired of reading books that don't help you, haven't helped you, or are not helping you, or attending courses and seminars that haven't really had an impact in your life, I invite you to read my book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, out now. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing, speaking at any of our many events, partnering, or licensing The Best You, for more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
So it's about that first sale. Then obviously things start falling into place. And I saw not a great quote, but I thought it was an interesting quote of Jay-Z. He says, if you can't afford to buy two of whatever it is you want to buy, then you haven't made it yet.
Right.
It's another way of looking at it. And that's true. I mean, there's so many entrepreneurs that jump in and they're just literally following and dragging onto the idea. I'm guilty sometimes. I just jumped into things because I'm too passionate about it. And obviously, the financials aren't necessarily in place. So what happened then? Because you were still very young and then you carried on building this kind of, empire that you have now. So take us through that process of growth.
I'll tell you a story. Okay, so I was sitting there in Natural Grocers corporate, and they told me, I said, okay, Tyler, it's a good product. It is. It's a good looking package. I mean, we did a good job. This was a very, very elongated, well-designed process. And I think it sells very well on the shelf. And it does sell very well. They said, okay, I put it on my shelf. How do I get it off? I said, well, what do you mean? He's like, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm not going to do anything. He goes, wrong answer. I said, no, wait, let me explain. It would be behoove of me to try to move that product. That would not fly. It will not. I cannot do that for you, sir. What I can tell you, though, and how you will start selling the product is all the customers that already know about the product. You have to have fans. You have to have a tribe, and you have to have supporters. Tyler's Coffees was built off of word of mouth. It kind of is a hush-hush in the coffee world. Oh, if you don't know Tyler's, then you don't know coffee. And the people that do know Tyler's Coffees promote the living heck out of it because they believe in it. An entrepreneur is there to produce a product or a service that other people will tote as one of the best. That is their only job. They are not out there to sell everyone. They are out there to tell everyone. And once you get enough people, it's a tipping point, right? So you're here on the teeter-totter. And you're saying, please buy my product, please buy my product, please buy my product, please buy my product. And every little bit, now watch, tipping point, and everyone starts buying your product because now you have other people explaining to other people, hey, how amazing this is. That is how you get successful. You're not, it's not a hobby. It's not a hobby. You know, this is a business. And so in order to have business, you have to have customers. And the way that you get customers is word of mouth. You can spend millions of dollars in marketing and not get the same effect that you would with 1,000 people word of mouth that believe in the product.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. It's so true. And then regarding the whole structure around it, because obviously it's building the brand, it's the growth, it's the strategizing, and then the marketing. But I think a lot of the times it's the scalability that people struggle with. I think a lot of people, okay, so I've done that. I've got this great idea. I've managed to get here. I managed to get this far. I can't take it to the next level. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts, expertise, and why is that?
Well, we have like an ongoing joke. It's like a running joke at Tyler's Coffees that we're always in a backward. It's true. We have so much demand and not enough supply. That's a good problem to have, but it is a problem. For people that have products that say, hey, I've got too much demand and not enough supply, you're in a good space. I'm not going to say that it's not a good thing that you are having your customers wait, but you're in a good space. That means that you have demand. For people that have too much product and not enough demand, that's a very bad space because now you're sitting on inventory that's costing you money and you have to discount the product because you can't sell it for the price point that you think is viable in the marketplace. So yes, scarcity is the thing. Now, here's the other thing. There is a lot of entrepreneurs that go out of business because they mismanage funds. I personally own 3 AMG Mercedes-Benz vehicles. Now, why did I say that? Because I can afford that. I used to drive a beat-up old BMW that was, 15 years old forever. I mean, I hated it. But, it's a BMW. No, listen. It doesn't matter. You need to understand that you can't buy things out of your comfort zone. Your business is your child. You feed it first. You take care of it first. It's going to take care of you in the long run, but you cannot start starving that child or it will die.
Yeah, that's great advice. And then, so if you are able then to scale it, and obviously then you do have, a brand that then people buy into and want to take it to, want to enjoy it, want to be part of your journey, part of your story.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many people struggle with the idea of becoming an entrepreneur? Because this is a time of reinvention. We're obviously going through a lot of thinking time. A lot of people
we are.
And a lot of people, kind of either struggle with it or embrace it. I always have this thing which is, I suppose, is based on the idea that I think that every single thing happens for a reason, but everything happens for a good, positive reason. That's the way I always see it. Everything that's happening is happening for a positive reason. So why do so many people struggle in jumping, in becoming entrepreneurial and going out and reinventing themselves? What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are it is the most difficult, frustrating, absolutely mind-altering experience to walk on the edge of failure. People do not like to fail. There's a strong ego that everyone has, and I don't care who you are, you have an ego. And when you start thinking that you can fail, that's when your ego says, no, we can't. And I'm one default. I don't want to fail. I want to succeed in life. I want to succeed in business. I want to succeed in my personal life. But at one time, you got to fail, and you got to learn, and you got to fail hard. And I think certain entrepreneurs realize that failing fast and hard and forward is the way to go. There's also too much stigma of value that we've put on people in the last 10 years, in my opinion. Used to be, you work hard, you get what you deserve. Now it's, I'm entitled to everything and I don't need to work. Well, I have news for you. Whoever is listening to that and believes that is false. We live in a society that is just. And what I mean by that is work hard, play harder. And an entrepreneur works diligently, 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week, eats ramen. I was there, eats ramen, sleeps on the floor. Elon Musk said, he's like, I literally slept on the floor on a used mattress for 6 years while building PayPal. I mean, people need to understand that there is going to be some hardships and grit and grime, and you're going to have to go through the mud. And so, Bernardo, I have to say that some people are just not cut out for it.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I get that not everyone can be an entrepreneur. I get that. I mean, I think kind of you opened up with the whole idea of what I believe, which is obviously I believe around the best you. And I say this normally. I say, look, I could have called it the average you or the crap you, but I don't think anyone would have signed up to that. But everyone talks about being the best you. And I just think that we're obliged, and I think that we're all obliged. And that's where I think, that people need to appreciate and understand the importance of their actions, to inspire their kids, their loved ones, they're sponges. So I think at the end of the day, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for the people that are around you.
Sure.
And inspire them. So not everyone can become an entrepreneur. I get that. Not everyone has what it takes. I just think that obviously people have to be open to reinventing, and most importantly, they have to be open to learning. People have to be open to learning new things and exploring new things.
And you know what? Here's the best thing that you could ever say to someone. I made a mistake. I apologize. Mm. If you made a mistake, if you were wrong, and you say, no, I'm not wrong, you'll never learn from your mistakes. I will be the first person to say you're wrong, and I'll be the first person to say I was wrong. If you have that mentality, you will never fail because you'll learn. Someone says, Tyler, the sky is blue. And I say, no, it's not. No, seriously, it's blue. You're colorblind. That's the exact example of an entrepreneur that's going to fail. No, it's not. No, it's not. Well, guess what? It is.
So let me ask you, I want to obviously go into your expertise and coffee. Yeah. Now, a lot of people over the years have, I'm not saying over the years, coffee's been around for a long, long, long time. But I'm in my opinion, there's a lot of people that have started to understand and appreciate the value, the importance of coffee as part of your daily diet, and not just a terrible cup of coffee that's just hot water with which kind of a lot of people have tasted. So I know over the years there's been amazing brands and great brands and lots of great companies doing some great stuff. Obviously, you have a unique product with what you do and how you do it. So tell us obviously, I know we've explained tell us the what is your coffee and why is it different, and the importance of coffee, because I think it's also
so coffee has essentially been around longer than 400 years, but roughly the written word of coffee is 400 years old. And it was founded by these donkeys, seriously, founded by these donkeys that would eat the cherries, and the farmer would see that the productivity would go up. Well, the farmer realized that a red cherry kind of means poisonous, but the donkey wasn't dying. So the farmer tried it and was like, ooh. So then he started roasting it and they got better. Well, fast forward, coffee has been roasted like that for centuries. And what we've created is a Z roasting process, but I like Zed. I think that's very classy. A Zed roasting process that it will not bloom the tannic and lipid acids. Now, when we say that, we mean that we have a computer that has specific programming that the human error is not involved, so that there's no roasting going on. And so every batch is identical. It's like cookie cutter. It does not change. And when we created this product, we created that you can drink this without having any reverse side effects. So people that have Crohn's, GERD, interstitial cystitis, OAB, ulcer colitis, you name it. There's probably over 100 stomach-related modalities. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation in North America did a report, and 50 million Americans suffer from stomach-related modalities in 2016. That number has increased minimum 25% due to our diet. So when you start looking at the numbers that the affected aspect is of coffee, there really is no benefit to drinking it. And so for healthy people out there in this world, they say, no, do not drink coffee. It doesn't really give you value. Well, it does. It has extremely high amounts of antioxidants. But the problem is there's negative side effects, which is acid. So you're kind of equaling out your plus and minus there. With Tyler's, we've created a product where you're getting all the benefit and none of the negative. So you can drink coffee time and time again without having any reverse side effects.
Well, I've tasted it. It's a brilliant coffee. I love your product range. I love your marketing. I love how how it's all packaged. And I got to say, when I came across it, everyone that was when it was on David's event, there were so many people talking wonders about your coffee. So that was it. I was hooked on automatically. I got myself the coffee, and I have to order some before I leave to Europe. But anyway, so where do you see the business and the industry going as far as there's a lot of brands coming up. It's obviously growing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tyler's Coffee's again 16 years old, and now we're seeing from everyone smooth, non-bitter, low acid. Yeah. I mean, this is derivative of our product. Period. There's no question about it. And what I'm seeing that this podunk kid on a bicycle in Tucson, Arizona is starting to manipulate a $1.6 trillion industry. I'm not saying that through ego. I'm saying that through fact. And I find that ironically funny that I have that I don't want to say power, but that influence. And as you start building your company, as you start growing, as you start coming onto the map, you're going to get competition. You're going to get people that are going to try to undermine you and take what you have. Do not get upset. Do not be appalled. Do not put an ounce of energy behind anger.
Take it as a compliment.
You got it.
Absolutely.
Take it as a compliment, because that is what it is. People like to follow success. And if you're successful, buddy, you're going to have followers.
If you're interested in watching the video content of this interview and many others, or interested in learning from world leaders and teachers, go to www.thebestyou.online.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I struggled over the years with kind of the word leader or kind of visionary, they're simple words, but they are what they are. Just people put them out of context. But a leader is someone that's leading the way.
Right.
Not everyone can, I see it as if you're in the jungle. Well, it's the guy who's got the big machete who's cutting and everyone's following.
Yeah.
And if it's a visionary, well, it's someone that visualizes, hey, I can see the company doing this and that. So there's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing wrong in holding your place and space about that. So what's next for you?
Well, it's obviously we want growth, but that's what every entrepreneur and every businessman's going to say is, well, we want to have more money than we did last year. But what I really I'm for is I want to support. And I tell this to everyone, and no one ever takes me up on it, and it's fine. It's fine. But I will say this to your viewers that are listening. If you want my support, if you want my help, I did not get a lot of support and help growing my business. I have learned a plethora of amount of things. So if you want to reach out to me, email me, Tyler@tylerswithanS.com. Ask me anything. AMA, right? Reddit AMA. Ask me anything. I will give you my opinion. I'll weigh whatever you want to ask me. That's what's next. I want to see people get involved in their life. Be the best you can be, like you said. And if entrepreneurial is that level of where you want to take it, then do it, man. Just do it. I mean, don't do it. Let me repeat that. Don't do it just to do it. Do it for a purpose, and do it because you did an educated guess. I mean, there's a lot of businesses that fail because they're undercapitalized, but really they're undereducated. And there's a lot of people out there, and I do not fault, anyone that says consult with me and this is my fee. That's your business. I respect your business, and I'm not talking about you. But what I am saying is that for an entrepreneur, it's extremely difficult and hard to pay certain people fees for that. And that's where I come in. So if you want to talk to me and you want to bounce some questions off me, I'm free. I'm not going to charge you a dime. I'm probably going to say you should go buy my coffee because I think you'll enjoy it. But my advice is 100% free, and I'm very proud to do that because I hope that one day my advice will turn someone that is less fortunate or doesn't have the wherewithal to take my advice, run with it, become extremely successful, and pass it forward.
Well, and I think, and I've got to say, one of the things that I kind of really I really invite people is to do the same, is ask, the power of asking.
Yeah.
A lot of people really underestimate, how generous and how open so many people are with their time. And you just don't know. Now, look, you will find people that say, hey, listen, that's great. I gave you a 10, 15-minute consultation, but I do this for a living and they're going to charge you. And hey, quite rightly, if that's what they do, if they're a coach or a mentor. But as far as entrepreneurs are concerned, as far as people that are going out of their way, so generous. So you're generous with your time. You obviously have massive, vast expertise. And I invite anyone, obviously to take advantage of Tyler's generous offer. If it's something that you're interested in exploring, whatever, I suppose whatever business it is, it's just literally about any entrepreneur. But I highly recommend you do that, because a lot of people struggle with asking for help.
Yeah, and that's the thing is learn from other people's mistakes. Also, what I would suggest people that are listening, that are entrepreneurs or starting entrepreneurs, read The E-Myth. The E-Myth. It's a phenomenal book. It's one of my favorite books. The E-Myth. It's a short book. I don't know if you've heard of it, Bernard, but
yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal book. Love it. I think it's one of the greatest books.
It is a great book. I look, for entrepreneurs, I recommend a lot of books, but Simon Sinek is definitely one to start with. The Why was a book that kind of changed my idea, and it gave me a clearer understanding, because I knew what my why was, but it kind of gave me a clearer understanding of and stories and success stories and companies that went down and came back because of that. So I think kind of what I want to end with, Tyler, is as far as you're concerned. So I've got different hats on, within my brand, but Bernardo has his own wants and needs. Now, I know from what I gather, from what I can hear, you're very interested in helping others and giving back. Yeah. So what are you doing? If there's anything else, what else are you doing, or how are you, if in any way, diversifying or getting involved in maybe new things personally?
You asked, Bernardo. You asked. You might regret it. Okay. All right. Here's what you asked. So I'm going to tell you. I am appalled, absolutely appalled, that we have, the word is ignorance. That's the word in this society that thinks that it's okay to go and deface national monuments in America. I am appalled by that behavior. I don't care what movement you are, that is not acceptable. What I am doing is I am putting together a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, a GoFundMe page. They're all going to be roughly the same. We're not going to take a single dollar. This is not profit. We are donating 100%. And my father is actually going to be the one that's going to invent the material, but we are going to invent the graffiti remover, and we are going to send it to the municipalities, especially Washington, D.C., and we are going to say, hey, here's some free graffiti remover. Please remove that blasphemous ignorance from our American heritage. So I'm a huge believer of America. America is the greatest country on the earth as far as I'm concerned. And what has happened in the recent weeks is atrocious. I'm not going to get political. That's not who I am. But I am going to say that we need to absolutely clean our national monuments. I almost cried when I saw the pictures. They have this idea that they can go in and sledgehammer Vietnam memorials is atrocious. It's beyond words.
So you're passionate about that. I get it. And I know we spoke about a few things previously. I think, look, at the end of the day, it's a time where I think there's a lot of frustration as well. Yeah. With everything that's gone on, my concern is with a lot of it is which is me questioning. I'm not putting in doubt, and I'm not questioning the fact that people have the right to go out there and do what they want. I get it. This has become.
They have the right. It's their First Amendment. What is not the First Amendment is to deface our national monuments.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
No, I get that. I'm just talking about my concern is in the reality where we were in lockdown for 3 or 4 months, literally with no connection at all. And then all of a sudden everyone's gone out. Either they weren't giving us the information before, or either we don't care now, but I'm just hoping. And again, everyone has a right to do whatever they want. I'm just hoping that it doesn't have the consequences where we're going to go into a massive second wave where, we'll be back and worse from where we were, a couple of months ago. That's my only question.
Yeah.
And I'm just, that's kind of my concern because, having been in lockdown like many of us, I don't really want a lot more of that, to be honest. I'm ready to get out and to socialize.
We all are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tyler, anything else you want to end with? I want to thank you so much. You've shared some great ideas, great insights, and I know we're going to be collaborating.
I want to ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What made you decide to go this path?
To go down this path? Well, I think kind of for me it was a need. So I haven't been a great entrepreneur, I've got to say. I've failed beautifully a couple of times. Beautifully. I had my first real estate.
Good for you.
Yeah, I failed beautifully at the age of 26 when my first real estate crash. Yeah. And that was okay. It was tough. The second one was tougher because I was 38. I had the cars, I had the staff, I had everything. And my second real estate crash caught me, and it caught me in a really, really bad way because I was like redecorating some really expensive properties and massive, ridiculous mortgages. And it caught me completely out of I didn't have a B plan. I didn't believe in a real estate bubble. So I got into personal development in a professional level as far as I really started understanding or learning more about mindset, about thoughts. I was always very interested. Right. But I became a promoter because I felt that there's expertise, there's so much expertise in the world, and there wasn't really a place for people to go and find it, connect, so kind of people like yourself, and so many other entrepreneurs, coaches, trainers, mentors. I thought, well, everyone's very generous with their time, and there's people that need help. How do they connect? Because unless they're going through their own individual platforms, i.e. Tony Robbins doing a gig or Robert Kiyosaki's doing a gig or whatever, it was all very insular. So I wanted to create something that was for everyone. So that's why I came up with the whole idea of the best you. And it was always global. It always had to be global. It had to be multi-platform. So it was always like this in my mind. And if anything, I wanted all the events to have and reach hundreds of thousands of people. So I'm just simply very keen in helping people learn, being open to learning and educating people and becoming that vehicle, that instrument, which is the best you, and it's what it is.
I think that's the most important thing that people need to understand is they need to learn. I can't stress that enough. Quick story, I know we're running low on time, but quick story. I had someone that was quote unquote upset with me for various reasons that I won't get into. But the one thing that I'm going to say, and this is my takeaway, we were having an argument and he goes, "You think you're a know-it-all. You think you're the best. You think that you're better than everyone." And I said, wait a minute. I don't think I am the best. I don't think I am a know-it-all, but I like to learn. That's what I told him. I said, I like to learn. So whatever I'm doing, studying, whatever, I love to learn about it. I love to know as much as possible so that I don't feel that I'm at a disadvantage. And this person was obviously irate with me and realized that they're not going to get their way with me. But it made me think, if that is the mindset of a majority, unfortunately, a majority amount of people, that they have a box, and inside their box is their knowledge. And as long as the box is not disrupted and their knowledge is intact, they're happy. Entrepreneurs, they don't have a box. They never designed a box.
Yeah.
They have more interest in learning anything. I mean, we're talking anything. We're talking about why there's a different rotation from Mars than there is from Uranus, why plants grow the way they do. Why? It's because we love to learn. We love to learn because we love to succeed in our learning and our knowledge. Knowledge is power. I cannot stress that enough. And so any entrepreneur that says, I want to do social media. Now, I will say I am not good at social media. I hire people for that. I have the luxury to do so. But in the beginning, I had to learn what social media was. I had to begin to learn what social media would do for a company. I felt fabulously. And I learned that you always hire your weaknesses and not your strengths. But now we have a beautiful firm. They do an amazing job. I can't thank them enough for the support they've done. I mean, go look at our social media. It looks top class. And it's because I learned what I was looking for. So as an entrepreneur, you are the one-man band, you know, until you start succeeding, until you start putting some capital in your pocket and then having resources to go and buy your problems, you got to figure it out.
Yeah, that's great advice. I'm a massive believer in learning. I love learning, love reading, love subscribing to stuff and going through it and exploring and pushing the boundaries. So I get it. So listen, I want to thank you so much. Great work. Congratulations on all your amazing achievements, and looking forward to working with you in the future as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
And thank you for everyone for listening. Take care. Lots of love. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.